Hey y'all, I'm the Southern ma'am, but all my friends call me Tasoma. I'm a chicken mama in real life, so I know how important it is to give my chicks plenty of food, water, shelter, space, and treats, lots of treats, so they'll produce the happiest eggs in town. In Minecraft, our chickens don't need such good living conditions, so egg farms typically minimize space in order to maximize production. However, I want to give my in game flock the same loving care that I give my real world flock. Let's build a free range, ethical chicken egg farm right here in Minecraft. A simple early game chicken coop might have a floor of hoppers covered in carpets, so that as the chickens lay their eggs, the eggs will fall through the carpet into the hopper and then into a connected chest for collection. However, if you want to scale the farm up and still give the chickens room to roam, a floor completely made of hoppers is very expensive. Instead of a floor of hoppers and carpets, you could dig below the grass and install a hopper minecart track. However, this is still pretty resource intensive and kind of noisy. Let's build a little different style of egg farm today, letting our chickens free range and only requiring 4 hoppers. We'll need just a few simple redstone components as well as 4 buckets of water to not only collect eggs, but give our chickens a nice little cool down in the middle of the hot day. Add in a couple of copper golems and we'll be able to automatically sort out eggs of any color. Let's start by placing down a 16 by 16 building platform. The egg collection chest will be on the bottom platform and the chickens will live on the grass 4 blocks above. Therefore, if you build the platform on the ground, your chicken space will be 5 blocks above ground. If instead you would like the chickens on ground level and your collection chests to be underground, you should dig out a space 5 blocks deep. Place the egg collection chests in the front of the building platform. We're going to have all 3 types of chickens in our farm, so I've used wool to designate the color eggs for each chest: blue, white, and brown. The copper golems are going to automatically sort those out, so we've built them a sorting area with a wall 8 by 8 by 8 with a copper chest right in the center. Next, we'll add another layer to our inner walls. Be sure to add stairs here in the front so that the chests will still open. Then we can use solid blocks all the way around. Above the copper chest, we need 2 hoppers pointing into the chest and then 2 hoppers pointing into those hoppers. That way, anything collected will drain into the chest. Now, this is the simplest configuration and the one we'll continue to use for the rest of the video. However, you could make several easy modifications to this design. First, you could duplicate the chests on the other side, doubling your storage. You would just need to put another copper golem in this area. You could even divide the space into 4 sections so that with just a few extra copper chests and copper golems, you would have 4 storage sections. Now that we've built a basic egg collection area, we need to work on the farmland. We will place grass blocks 1 level above the hoppers all the way around them in this pattern. It's basically 4 blocks out from each hopper and then connecting the spaces in between. Then we'll place grass blocks 1 block higher above our design all the way to the edges of our 16 by 16 platform. I've used moss here on the outer edge to show the boundary. However, because chickens don't actually use grass in this game, you could make this whole thing out of moss if you preferred. Even though we're giving our chickens a grassy place to roam, they'll still need shelter and safety, so it's time to build the chicken coop. In each corner, we'll build 2 5-block tall columns. We'll also build those columns in the very center of each side and connect them with fence posts to enclose the area. We'll finish it off with a roof covering the entire platform connected to that 5th block. So we have 4 block space and the 5th block is our ceiling. We're going to use water to help collect all of our eggs. So in each corner, place a dispenser pointing downward. This is all the redstone we need to control all of the dispensers. First, place down a daylight detector with a comparator to an observer. Then, place another comparator into the first one connected to a lectern. On the lectern, place a book with 15 pages and turn it to page 15. This will correspond to the light levels in the middle of the day. Finally, use a repeater out of the observer to pass the signal on to a redstone line and connect that redstone line to all the observers, putting a repeater in the center of each line to help that signal make it all the way around. When the daylight detector reaches power level 15, it will send a signal to the comparator and the observer will see that signal. That will cause it to send out a pulse through the redstone line, which will then cause our dispensers to dispense water buckets into our area. I've added water buckets to each dispenser so we can see this in action. The comparator turned on as the daylight levels increased to power 15, which sent the redstone pulse out and activated our dispensers, letting water flow throughout our coop. As you can see, with the particular way we arranged the grass blocks, all of the water is leading to the 4 hoppers in the center. No matter where an egg is laid in this area, it would flow downward and be collected in the hoppers. With the addition of a few final details, our chicken coop is fully functional. We've added 2 copper golems underneath to sort the eggs. And we've placed 1 egg of each color in the chests to act as a filter for sorting. We added water over the hoppers to make a permanent water source so the chickens will always have some water to drink. Then, of course, we added the chickens. There are a dozen chickens here right now, 4 of each variant. And of course, you can see them laying all those colorful eggs around the space. When the dispensers release the water, all the eggs are pushed toward the central hoppers and are collected in the chests below. Our chickens get a chance to splash and cool off in the heat of the day. When light levels drop below power level 15, the dispensers retract the water into the water buckets, our chickens shake off their feathers, and playtime is over. This free-range ethical egg farm is fully functional, but it's also intentionally basic. You can modify and decorate this design to fit the vibe of your personal world. For me, I've always appreciated the red barn aesthetic in farms, so I built a roof over our chicken coop, but left the outer walls open for air and sunshine. On one side, I built an area for them to roost at night, while on the other side, I built a feeding station with pumpkin seeds as well as melon seeds. You can build decoratively on the 2 blocks across from the hoppers on any of the 4 sides of the build. However, just be sure that there's a solid block line leading down on both sides so that there's nowhere for the eggs to get stuck when the water flows. Also, be sure that there's no space for the chickens to jump on a block and get out of the fence line. When we want to collect our eggs, we just use this trapdoor to go down to our copper golem sorting area. On this side are our 3 chests with the blue, white, and brown eggs. Just around the corner, our copper golems are hard at work. However, we wanted to also build an inviting space to relax for them when they're off duty, so we added a few chairs, a television, and some books, just to make the area a little cozy. On the back of the barn, I added a ladder access to the hayloft. That way, we can come check on our redstone if we need to fix any settings. Remember, the daylight detector does have to have light access, so there's 1 glass block here to allow light to shine through. Well, what did you think? I hope this video inspired you to make your own free-range ethical chicken egg farm in your own Minecraft world. Good Lord willing and the sun still shines, I'll see you again in the next video. Thank you kindly for watching and bless your heart.
Can you get down? Don't jump out that fence. Don't jump out the fence. Come here, baby. Come, I can't reach it.